Ladies and gents, welcome. We're going to have big trees for game number 1. We've got King of the Desert quarterfinal and Arabia-only tourney. I have so much I want to talk about with these players and this momentous occasion for both of them, because both were maybe considered the underdogs in the previous sets in the round of 16. You had MbL, an underdog against Veleza. He won there. And then Sitaux was the underdog against Leary, and Sitaux 3-0'd Leary. But we have some catching up to do, as we had ran into a variety of bugs with the casting program and the game itself. But we're here, and it's a best of 7, like I said. We've got MbL in the red. Things will look a little bit different for me casting, because I have to use older capture age program for this. But, you know, the theme between these two players, and I have a lot of things I want to talk about here. So, you know, I'll have to pick and choose my times as we're heading towards feudal age as we catch up to live time. The longer the game goes, the better MbL tends to play as a player. He prefers a messy style. He prefers a more patient, long-term approach, whereas Sitaux is very different in that he is more of a killer early. When he was up against Leary, if you had missed that coverage, Leary, he played very well. Leary's more of the player you would expect it to do damage early, and Sitaux was always the one to hit him, whether that be early feudal, early castle. Very few of those games went to the Imperial Age. So MbL playing as a Spanish here. And we have our stats down at the bottom right. MbL, he's going to be going for man-at-arms here. Now, Spanish do not get crossbowmen. So it's not a civilization you typically see man-at-arms with. I think MbL's trying to do something a little bit different. And the reason you don't normally see that is because you don't normally see archers with the Spanish. Because of the lack of crossbowmen, and the normal follow-up to man-at-arms is archers. But oh my goodness, it's all happening so fast for us. MbL wanted to go man-at-arm tower, so more of a classic build. And in the end, the militia just kind of square off. MbL loses his scout. And MbL now has to change his game plan here. So far, I really like the opening for Sitaux. MbL didn't expect that it was going to be militia there. And now MbL's in a position where he's just going to take advantage of the fact that he builds faster, and he's going to try and wall up. He's obviously got small trees, so he can see things, but we can pretty clearly see there's no hole along where he's placed the walls right now. But he needs to get these walls down before Sitaux comes forward with archers, or this could be a very fast game. Like, Sitaux's eco setup is going to be perfect for fletching as well. I feel like even if MbL gets his walls down, Sitaux will be able to disrupt the wood line at least. Okay, so this is going to be a long series. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I didn't cover a lot of the early King of the Desert because I was traveling for a wedding and just been busy with some other stuff. So happy to say I'll be covering the rest of King of the Desert. Do have a quick question for my viewers, my live viewers right now. Is the audio bad? How's the audio? For me, the tree chopping is maybe a little loud. We can always make some adjustments there. Anyways, we're going to disable some of these notifications as well. I don't think we need that on screen. MbL just repositions his lumberjacks here. Skirms for MbL. Overall, not looking too bad. Chopping could be a bit loud. Okay, so the chopping is a bit loud. Okay, then I'm going to make a quick adjustment to that. Super frustrating for me to have to deal with some of this stuff right now, but it is what it is, right? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? I think that's probably fine. Yeah, I think that's more along the lines of what I typically have it as. There we go. I will do a quick listen in after this game so we can make sure the other games are good to go. Look at Sitaux's food count here. He chose to be aggressive first, wall later, and approach different from MbL. And, I mean, this wall would be better, but sometimes in the moment you don't think about it. It doesn't really matter. MbL pops out with skirms, though, and MbL finds all the archers. Really good finds there. But what's interesting here is Sitaux didn't go for fletching. So he wasn't really expecting there to be a lot of damage done. I think MbL did a good job to hide those skirms. He did invest into the fletching upgrade and a lot of skirms, which delays his castle age time. Now, normally, like, you know your opponent's going to go stable units regardless of their civilization. Like, after showing skirms, you just know they're going to go stable units. But normally what you'd want with Spanish after clearing up archers, and I think we're caught up to live time now, everybody, is you'd want to go to stone. And that's not something that he really has the luxury of doing right now. because the stone is all outside. So Conquistadors won't be an option for MbL. He knows his opponent has the potential to make camels and Travamshas. Gajaras cannot make knights. So it looks like MbL is just going to opt for Spearman at the moment. But I think Sitaux has had, the better of the engagements thus far. I think that he's going to have the better economy. But again, he's not in a position to kill MbL quickly unless he comes forward with a Siege Workshop. And the longer the game goes, the better Spanish can be and the better a player like MbL can be. Nice little pick off there again from MbL. We'll see Travamshas for Sitaux. And those are great against skirms. But you notice Sitaux just drops the town center. And yeah, this game's going to go late. Okay, so things we wanted to talk about normally, but we couldn't because of the early Dark Ages. Long-term control over resources. This is exposed for MbL here. This is an area he's definitely going to want to lock down with the TC. Again, the stones. You got the stone here, and the other stones to the left as well. For Sitaux, he does have this gold and the stone kind of behind his walls right now. So, I mean, they've walled similar amounts. I guess Sitaux has actually walled a little bit more. But Sitaux had the map control, right? So he was able to choose where he walls. And he's on Travamshas now. We'll see what his long-term is going to be with the Gurjaras. I do actually think there could be some concerns for Sitaux if MbL stays in this game. Because, like, Travamshas work against just skirmishers. But if there then is also some pikemen, which MbL is now going for, I'm not so sure you're going to have the best of times. And MbL will know he's behind right now. He'll know his opponent's probably booming because he hasn't seen any siege from his opponent. And his opponent's been in Castle Age for a while. And look at MbL. He shows the skirm. He doesn't show the pikeman. And he's actually just going to drop a TC. I'm a little surprised by that. I thought that it was going to be for a bit of a siege push here. Because if you look at MbL's scouting and you know MbL's style, like a siege workshop on this hill or the middle hill would be amazing. So that might still be something he wishes to do. He actually needs a couple houses here just to keep these Travamshas out. But full trash units for MbL. It's pretty crazy. Is out of position here. Doesn't have all of his pikes because he was heading over to the other Travamshas. But 2 pikemen are enough to push that away. We do have siege for Sitaux, though, from home. 46 villagers for him, 43 for MbL. And Sitaux wisely runs away here. This is a good game. This is a really good game. Like, we saw from Sitaux's build what he wanted to do. And we knew what he would be doing coming into this series. It's a best of 7 quarter. And MbL's not expecting the siege, and he does split, but some of their heads get split here. Look how weak these guys are. Just the timings for Sitaux. It's what he used against Leary as well. Just slightly faster to either similar things or the correct move. Sitaux takes a fight against the pikes. He's not scared of the pikemen. And he's going to clear out these pikemen. And now MbL's in a really tricky spot. The siege timing from Sitaux was perfect. A lot of players are going to be tempted to go for this TC before they go for the siege. And then MbL starts to snowball the push. Sitaux has had such a great balance. Like, look at his eco. Look at his eco upgrades. Seems so good. Look at MbL. He knows this is going to be a problem and that this alone is not going to be enough. He also recognizes he can't just go for his own siege. So win or lose, this right here is the right play for MbL. He clicks Redemption and Sanctity out of the first monastery. And then he's going to make a monk out of the second. And that monk's going to be crucial here. He's invested over 500 gold in the upgrades for 1 monk. It's like a 600 gold investment, not even counting the monasteries, obviously. Now, MbL being on stone... Oh, thank you, Tony. I do need the logo on screen. But because I had to use a different scene here, because of the bug I had, the logo's on the other scene, and I'm going to add it here in a second. But anyways, what was I saying? Oh, because MbL's on stone, he's in a position where he could possibly get a forward castle in the future if he ends up clearing this up. So that's probably what he's thinking of doing. Yeah, Tony, I will have to logo after because this is kind of in the middle of an important moment. Travamshas running around. Sitaux will know because he saw both monasteries what this monk probably has. And he is not invested into any more siege, which is interesting. It's pretty smart. I think I would still make more siege just to pressure the area. Okay, the only thing on the front is the Mangonel. Monk's starting to convert. And Sitaux backs away. MbL's town center here, maybe not the best. He is behind, but he's not completely out of the game. And Mangonel gets converted. MbL, again, just hanging around. So the economy for Sitaux is insane. Look at his food eco. This is where I'd like to see forging. This is where I'd like to see armor. You could actually take fights against all this. Use your additional food income for either numbers, which he's going to do with the third stable. And if not numbers, make sure you're getting upgrades here. A forging upgrade can help with everything, obviously. And some big hits there from the Mangonel. Like, you don't want to give MbL some siege, because he's going to be able to find value from it. But Lightcav go in for the monks. Monks are now out of the picture. Lightcav are going to be out of the picture as well. And then here MbL's trying to use his skirms to kill the monks from Sitaux. And honestly, like, MbL's just got more army. MbL takes the score lead. MbL's still massing lots of stone. MbL could definitely bring the villagers forward if he wants to. But there's also a possibility that in his mind, he just values the Conquistador as a unit. So he might want a more defensive castle, but no. Sees the stone, knows where the gold is. What a unique game here from MbL. And Sitaux's got to be thinking, like, man, I knew exactly how this game was going to play out. I knew he was going to get walls down. I knew I'd be Castle Age faster. How am I supposed to kill this guy? The double monastery, immediate redemption sanctity. The timing was just perfect there. And now this becomes a much more difficult game for Sitaux. MbL's going to finish this castle. And that castle will range the main gold. And it will also then give MbL access to the stone, which is directly behind this. Which means more castles could come up, whether that be offensive or defensive. Full trash from MbL. Just counter units, like he's playing with Byzantines here. And now you have to value, like, do a couple eco upgrades and 5 more villagers really mean much when there's a castle on one guy's face? I don't think so. And, you know, for Sitaux, thankfully, he has this gold back here. But he's having some real problems. Now, what MbL normally does in these positions is he just completely outbooms his opponent. And when his opponent eventually makes it to the Imperial Age, MbL will have a pretty massive lead. So we'll see if he goes for maybe the next town center. We'll see if he continues to keep this amount on stone. He's going to go for another siege workshop. Actually, that's his first siege workshop. Excuse me. Now, he's going to mix in some siege. Sitaux knows the only way to get himself out of this pickle now is a defensive castle next to all this. And then the Imperial Age. The problem is, what army is he going to have? He doesn't really have an army to defend himself, so he needs walls. And it's probably worth it. He probably needs to stonewall behind this. Stonewall there. Hope to build your castle here. God, man, he's really using the market a lot right now, Sitaux. But he's still got stone. Still has gold. I just think if this army gets through, you have no counter to it. It's such an awkward mix. His hope is to drop a castle in this position, and the MbL does not run past all this. MbL is macroing a bit, adding more farms. Focusing on quite a few different things. And Sitaux's still in this game. If this castle goes up and he's an imp at a decent time to make trips. So what a unique first game. Mangonel's firing some shots on the skirms and missing. Mangonel's getting saved here by the repairs. MbL runs through with the conks. Now, if he's back here, it's a nightmare for Sitaux. Let's see if MbL actually can make it through here. Sitaux with the gate. Sitaux with the attack rounds. MbL still with 3 conquistadors, and man, that's going to bring so much value here. It's a great decision from MbL to run through. The siege workshop was converted a moment ago, so now MbL's got 2 siege workshops on the front, and we're going to see Shravamshas from Sitaux, as we're going to see another castle from MbL on the front. But guys, MbL's not going to be in the Imperial Age anytime soon. So he's gained the villager lead, but Sitaux can treb all this down. Sitaux's still in this game. Like, what he really needs now is food eco, actually. Food eco is something he's going to struggle with. But what an awesome game here. This is an electric game. I'm so happy we're able to get it working finally. And it's going to take me probably to the end of this game to feel like I'm in my groove casting-wise, but happy to be here, happy to be covering this, and let's go, baby. Let's see how it goes. Another castle for Sitaux. He's low on resources, but if he could keep the army out, if he could prevent MbL from getting value with these forces and treb all this down, MbL's going to have some big problems. MbL has not lost a single villager this game, though. He's mined a lot of Sitau's stone. He's got skirms, he's got conks, and he's using his mobility wonderfully right now. He will potentially lose those castles, but I could see a player like MbL just repairing those castles to buy time so he can have a crazy eco back at home. You see this time now that he's using? Really needs to catch up on some eco upgrades at this point, but it's easier said than done on those things when you're so focused. Shravamsha's here. Push back the skirms and conks. MbL is a player who's known for getting housed a lot. And he has 2 forward castles. So, I could see a world where MbL, when he loses these castles, is pop locked for a while. But that is like, that is the least of his problems. He is Spanish. He builds faster, so he could always build some houses. I still have some concerns over Sitau's long-term in terms of unit comp. Like, he's basically in a situation now where it's treb down the castles and figure it out. MbL's going to have a lot of time to make those types of decisions. And look how good MbL's been, right? The Shravamshas run over to one side. MbL pulls them away. The conks away, that is. And then goes in with another army. He's got 14 conquistadors. Has not shied away from making more conks, forcing Sitaux into a tower now. And Sitau's pop's still not looking great, as MbL's also trying to ram down the castle. Sitaux has to deal with that too. MbL's castle will go down, but he's got 43 farms right now. He's got 43 farms. He's got 130 villagers. He's on every wood line, it feels like, that Sitaux could possibly take, except for this little nugget. And while Shravamshas, they quote-unquote dodge range shots, the conks melt them after that dodge period is over. And MbL's just all over Sitaux. Sitau's population has gotten worse, despite the fact that he's taken out one of MbL's castles, and is about to take a second. There's just no answer to the conquistador right now. And I think MbL can use the conquistadors that he has now effectively for the foreseeable future, allowing him then to go for other units, which could be anything. I think when your opponent's this exposed, you could even just go for light cav as your long term, just to raid your opponent even further. But could be Halb, could be Halb Ram. I mean, MbL is just going to have the economy to do whatever he wants here. It's so hard to kill these conks. Okay, so remember I said that that MbL would need houses? He did prep the houses somewhere. A lot of those houses are actually in the middle, which is kind of funny. It looks like Sitaux is stabilizing, but I mean, really, he's not. Like, you think after taking out the 2 castles, things would be better, but no, not really. Also, nice job, Sitaux. You've just made a choke point for MbL to sit in. That is exactly what the conquistadors want. And Sitaux just desperate for answers against Spanish on Arabia. New and improved Spanish, though. And Gurjaras have been so freaking good in this tournament. I think their win rate's been quite high. I've seen them played in a lot of the sets. Again, I did not cover much of the sets over the last week and a half, but obviously I've been paying close attention. And first game of this best of 7, Sitaux might just want to cool down his nerves a little bit. But I'm sure he has a feeling right now that this is over. Has anyone else been playing Spanish besides MbL? Yeah, we have seen Spanish before. I forget the players, but Spanish was definitely played before. I think I saw it 2 other times, but it might have just been once. Okay, so classic. MbL's just got to double check to make sure he has all his eco upgrades. And now he starts to build castles in the neutral areas of the map, getting neutral gold, getting neutral stone. And still microing those conks. So, you know, it's crazy, man. Like, I'm really thinking about it right now, because it does feel like this first game is over for Sitaux. And now, clearly, the speed up is maybe spoiling something for us here, and we'll resolve that for the rest of the games. But trying to think what Sitaux could have done differently. Like, were there any massive mistakes? You know, from my perspective, I think he played this game really well. I think losing the archers was probably one of the bigger issues for him in this game, like losing the archers in feudal. Because in early castle, if he had Shravamshas and he also had crossbowmen, it could have been strong. But overall, like, I felt like his timings were pretty good economically. I felt like his siege against MbL's decision of Pikeman Skirm was good as well, but it was just like MbL always had an answer and then was able to take initiative with the forward castle. Remember, this TC, yeah, I was thinking those villagers, when they broke out of MbL's walls, were going to come forward for a forward siege workshop. It wasn't for that. It was on a town center on the stone, into some defense, into then a forward castle. It was like that TC was crucial here. I feel like so many players do not go to that stone because of the way the base setup is, and they just say, well, stone's going to be a for later thing for me. But MbL really just prioritized that. So I'm going to have some things to sort out here. I am a Capture Age Pro subscriber, but this is a different version that finally got things working for us here. MbL got the first win. So I'm going to make sure that things look a little bit different here, and we could maybe utilize some different stats for the next game. Best of 7. We're in this for the long haul. All right, ladies and gents, welcome to the second game. They have immediately launched into this one. Sitaux was probably hosting, and he was probably just like, get me a win right now. I want a bounce-back game because game number 1 was not how I would have envisioned my start here in this quarterfinal. Again, MbL in the previous round, he beat Veleza. Sitaux beat Leary. Both players probably considered underdogs in those sets. I don't know who you could consider the underdog here. And lots of self-belief for these players here, I'm sure, coming into it. So, Sitaux playing as the Mongols, most likely going to try and lame. It's one of the main bonuses of the Mongols, is that you have scouting line of sight, and then also you hunt faster. MbL, though, doesn't have that bonus, but MbL is going forward with his scout as the Saracens, because he knows this is going to be a lame game. MbL's great at laming himself, and he's already stealing a goat here. Yet again, small apologies for no small trees. They literally launched the next game right away. Didn't want to start the game late. Okay, so Sitau's going to find this Rhino. Now, normally you don't want to have any hesitation in these instances, and you just want to go for it. MbL will be paying attention to that and will realize his Rhino's now running. MbL has found 3 sheep or goats, and he can see the Rhino in the area he's scouted. So what he could do is he could try and predict the path. He knows the TC's around here. And he could try and block this. And it would be just be massive. Like, if he could block this and kill Sitau's scout, and then also have 3 goats, he would have the better of the lames for sure. But now it's in the darkness, right? Now he doesn't know where on earth Sitaux is gone. Sitaux going the long way around, probably intentionally here, because he likely would have seen the scout from MbL. And MbL just has a sense for these things, and MbL's going to see it. Oh my god, what a start for MbL. Now, you have to click like a madman to block the scout. So now, Sitaux trying to stay within the distance of the board. Now, this is the boar's vision, okay? This is Gaia. Gaia shares the same vision. So if any Gaia sees you, the Rhino will continue to chase. Sorry for calling it a boar. And wow, Sitau's so good. Pause. Oh, it went out of it. It went out of vision for a second. That's why I switched to Gaia's point of view. And that is just far enough away where a villager wasn't able to come snag it for Sitaux. So very well played from MbL. That is going to come home now. In the meantime, like, MbL's got pop blocked. Like, obviously, while blocking, that was huge. Some other aspects went wrong, but that is to be expected. So he's going to have plenty of food. There is still a worry because Sitaux has had 2 rhinos, right? It's not like Sitaux hasn't taken his rhinos. And Sitaux will still have a really good opportunity in early feudal. But weaker scout for Sitaux now, so the early attacks could be less effective. MbL also sees the barracks and is going to attack the villager as well. Something he now backs away from. And Sitaux actually backs away from building his barracks, which I think was a shift-click issue due to the stress of the situation. So, MbL now, realizing this, exactly what I said. Like, sure, it was impressive that he ended up delaying that, but he's definitely going to be feudal age later, and the aggression's definitely coming. So he's going to try his best here to wall up. And it's a pretty open map here. Most of the maps are open on King of the Desert. I also want to give... I think it's Crazini working on the maps. I'm not sure if they brought in anybody else. But I want to give Crazini a lot of credit because they did make adjustments to the map, I believe, from the qualifier to the main event. I have not had many issues with the map during the main event. The qualifier, like I played in it and I saw some games and I was just like, ooh, you know, there's possibly some imbalances here, which could be problematic later on. But it is looked really, really sharp. Right? Like, if it's open for one player, it's going to be open for the other. If it's semi-closed, it's semi-closed for the other. You just want consistency. Okay, so Sitaux is going to push in one last Zebra. He's out of goats completely. And he's using the, the militia to push in the next one. I guess it was just to help out a little bit. Now, Sitaux knows roughly where MbL is. But MbL is full walling, and MbL's... Is he going fast castle? What? Dude, this is far too bold. Like, surely you've got to click up to feudal age here, MbL. What's funny is... Sitaux is going for a strategy that he invented. The frush. Right? So it's the French drush. So it's just 2 militia. And then you go into archers. But, you know, this type of play can't really punish the walls. If you had man-at-arms with 3 militia getting upgraded now, you would melt the houses pretty quickly and the palisades. But a weak scout, not that that affects the attack, but it affects the value with blocking. And then just the militia doesn't accomplish much. And, like, when Sitaux 3-0'd Leary, which was incredible, both players are going aggressive the entire time. Sitaux knew exactly what to expect, but now he's up against MbL, and MbL is making the most open map wallable. It's just ridiculous. Isn't it nice to have a strat coined after you? Also thought Vinch did it. Vinch did the... He started the standard 2 militia drush. And then Sitaux and other... Sitaux actually... I'm going to talk about this more now that we have the time. Because he's going to bring archers forward and MbL's just walling up. And he's going to go archer defense. But... Sitaux not only started the frush, the French drush, he kind of started this Archer every Arabia game meta as well. In team games, if you follow the Return of the Clans tourney, it was a 3v3 tourney last year. Like, the Baguettes were doing this 17, 18 pop Archer thing, and everyone was like, well, this is team game meta now. This is team game meta. If you've watched King of the Desert, there's been a lot of just straight up Archers. This is crazy, dude. Like, come on. 54 palisade walls. That is so expensive. But again, just like we said in game number 1, if you think about how MbL plays, and then you even think about this Civ matchup too. I know Mongols get really strong in post-stim, but as long as Saracens don't fall behind, as long as they don't die in this stage of the game, they've got the market to rely on, and they could have a stronger castle age. All right. Archers on the way, obviously, for Sitaux. MbL probably expected this. MbL will go for his own archers. He did scout that the whole way through. It's kind of funny. I was going to say, does the cactus block the houses? There's now a cactus in someone's house. But I don't think they'll complain too much. Another range for MbL. Most players are going to be going for a blacksmith to upgrade their archers. Or they're going to be going for a market right now to start to buy and sell resources. MbL wants to prioritize catching up on archer numbers, which makes a lot of sense here. We have the scout engaging from MbL, a decision I disagree with. He's never going to have an opportunity to kill anything there, and now he's got the weaker scout. And Sitaux going for the blacksmith. I think we could even see Sitaux go for a market in this game. And I wonder if Sitau's going to get fletching this game, because last time he was up against walls, he didn't go fletching, and then MbL hopped out with army and killed his archer army before castle. Let me look at Sitau's vision here. Sitaux saw the range. Okay, so... But he might expect MbL to go skirms. I think you have to stick to your strengths, and I think you get fletching, and you have enough aggression where MbL shows you what he has. And that's exactly what MbL will have to do. 6 archers right now for Sitaux. About to be 7 for MbL. MbL is going to have fletching as well. Timing seems like it's going to be just about right here, the Norwegian. Notice the eco for Sitaux in terms of food setup is really nice right now. And he's very paranoid there's going to be sneak archers because he's seeing MbL go for building walls instead of showing the army here. So yeah, you know MbL has army. He's not showing it to you, so he must be coming to your base. And now Sitau's like freaking out. It's so interesting, though. MbL actually saves that villager. And he's going to show up here with the army. Sitaux sells a stone because he knows this could be a race to Castle Age. I think we're going to see Sitaux sell a stone almost every single game, honestly. Early Castle Age was his window, which he couldn't really take advantage of in the first game. Still is going to have a crazy Castle Age time compared to MbL. The question then is he going to have the army? Because MbL's on 11 archers. Sitaux's on 7. He didn't even queue up another archer here because he's trying to save the res to click up. So he needs to conserve his mass, but I think he's going to be fine. He can get away with this army. This range will continue to produce archers. Oh, no, I don't know if he's going to be fine. Oh, man, the timing for MbL. Does have the market now, and you'll see MbL probably considered buy and sell things. I mean, MbL's only got 4 farms. Such an unorthodox player. But the worry for him was he could be punished by all the early feudal shenanigans from Sitaux, and it just hasn't happened yet. So, to answer some questions, anyone who skipped ahead in the video later, anyone who's watching live, I will have small trees in a second. We had massive issues getting things running. And the players started their game right away. MbL looking to click up, using the market. Sitaux knows he can't engage against this. He's adding some skirmishers to help out in the matter, which is probably really good. Keep in mind, these are Saracen archers. They destroy buildings pretty quickly. MbL had the big numbers advantage a second ago. Now he dives in. He's going to take this fight. The good news for MbL, regardless of what happens here, is that his opponent no longer has archers to kill him in early castle. Remember that. As he finds a villager pick there. And doesn't get the second one, but very well played from MbL here. You can't kill somebody quickly with a couple skirmishers. Now, can Sitaux clear all this? Yes, he can. But his whole game plan is going to have to change. In fact, we might even see him purchase some stone just to go boom or something. Sitaux reaches Castle Age. MbL still 2 minutes away from the next stage. And we have a university for Sitaux. It is the common play for an archer player when they want to go ballistics. But is it a proper move, as MbL runs into the TC, to be going ballistics now when you only have 5 crossbowmen? Oh, God. And now Sitaux loses... He loses 3 archers in the middle. He's going to have 2 units. 2 real effective units, that is. Great game from MbL. Now, MbL's eco, guys, is full Saracen eco. You kind of expected this to happen earlier. 14 on gold, 15 on wood, couple villagers on stone. He doesn't have good food eco, but he's going to have the better archer mass. Ballistics for 3 crossbowmen. And the skirms. Let's not forget about the skirms, which for the time being can be very helpful because MbL is still in feudal. So Sitaux threw some army. MbL could throw some army in a second. And so now MbL backs away. I think ballistics will surprise him, and if there's any player remaining in this event that could get crazy value from this tiny little army, it would be Sitaux. And that is enough of a force as the ostrich goes down. Enough of a force to stress MbL out enough to drop a tower. But I don't think like that tower is hugely necessary. Realistically, he just needs to get Castle Age, get his upgrades. I think he'll be fine. These villagers, though, he's going to pull them away thinking I could just casually do that. And he's going to realize ballistics is in. Actually, maybe not, because that was pretty close. MbL getting Bodcanero, doesn't have crossbowmen yet. Sitaux has really impressed me with how he's played this. Continually making crossbowmen now. Still worried about a counterattack. Yeah, that's another villager down for MbL. Surely now he's starting to pick up on the fact that ballistics might be in for his opponent. He deleted the tower at 50%. Interesting. And he's adding Mangonel. Now, this is classic, right? You can choose to play the archer game, and you both just make archers and both get the same upgrades and both try and make more, and that's the whole game. Or you go siege defense against those archers, and then you counterattack. And Sitaux earlier was worried about a counterattack and tracked it. Here, he does not see what MbL is up to, and there's got to be some worry. Like, he's worried about the back area of his base. MbL's Saracens, and he's going to bust right through this palisade. Oh, geez, man. Oh, there's so many exposed villagers. And look at what these two do. They sacrifice themselves for the team. All right, MbL has better eco right now. And he's got the better civilization for low eco, messy eco balanced games because he's got the market. 16 crossbowmen for Sitaux as he comes back home with them now. And the positive for Sitaux, as bad as this looks currently, is that he didn't lose that much. And he is favored in this micro battle because he has ballistics. Something MbL may do. MbL is also a player to maybe go for a TC. There's the siege for MbL in the middle. Sitaux microed away from that as well. And now you're going to see MbL, knowing ballistics is in, try and out-micro it by dodging back and forth. And so far, so good for him. Also microing here. Good engagement for Sitaux. Still giving Sitaux the edge. He's at home as well, right? So he's going to have numbers coming over here to deal with this. And wow, Sitaux has recovered nicely. But look at this micro. MbL does not have ballistics. He's so stubborn, and he's buying himself time to do a lot of other things. Now, I don't expect him to truly be putting a lot of focus on farming right now, for example. And Sitaux able to dodge MbL's shots much easier. And finally, MbL is just like, I've got to do some other things here, man. Like this, I cannot do this forever. And that's a big clear up for Sitaux. Wow. While it is a big clear up for Sitaux, now there's going to be 3 mangonels for MbL. So now he's going to need siege of his own. Siege he does have. Would love to see MbL get ballistics as well. But he's going to drop the town center. He feels like ballistics doesn't give him the value that economy will. Why are the unit stats like kills blurred out? Is there anything blurred out on this screen? This stuff's blurred out because... Oops. Oh, God. That stuff is blurred out because I'm using an unofficial version of Capture Age because the official version of Capture Age does not work on the patch. So that's the situation. I think I can sign in. I think I have to sign in again, and then it will do that. But as I said with the tree issue, things have been flying here today. King of the Desert quarterfinal number 1, and I don't want to miss games. Procaster. It's not my fault, dude. There's literally been 5.5 patches over the last month and a half. This has been so frustrating as MbL. It's mangonel micro. Dude, like, great recovery from Sitaux there. He needed that one because then it would have been 3 versus 0. And oh, man. Look at the game sense from MbL. He knows he's vulnerable here, so he drops an outpost. That is so good. Assuming he actually reacts to it because it's so good from Sitaux to be here to hit this type of an area. And okay, MbL backs away. And he is getting ballistics now as well. So 70 versus 70 population. MbL is the slight economic lead. Sitaux has the army lead. Not in the siege numbers. That is now tied. And the positioning, you know, it all depends. But we'll see. MbL's massing crossbowmen to deal with this. Sitaux patrolled forward. MbL is just waiting patiently here on the hill. Kills a couple skirms. Not a big deal for Sitaux as we see town center number 2 as well. So that's awesome. MbL's massing crossbowmen to deal with this because this has been a thorn in his side. This whole stone area as he pulls away again. Food eco is at 10 for both players. MbL gets hit slightly. And then MbL shows up finally to deal with this. And Sitaux will probably realize MbL has ballistics now. I'm surprised we're not seeing the market used more from MbL. Buying food to get eco upgrades, buying food for more vills. He did just buy food, but... Oh, man, a great engagement because Sitaux was microing here, and Sitaux's not even going to win that fight either. Maybe he will. And now MbL's looking on the other side, and now MbL gets hit. Like, it's so good when so much is happening that you can kind of see where players are prioritizing their time. And this little force is basically the reason why MbL lost that mangonel there. And both players have a hill to work with in these situations. So neither player really wants to advance up the hill when this is so hectic. Third TC for Sitaux. This is not one MbL is going to expect. This is a great town center on a woodline and a gold, but it's just far out of his base, right? You'd expect the TCs here. But obviously dropping the town centers there doesn't make a lot of sense if MbL's got this middle position on you. Like the outposting a lot from MbL. But this town center might end up making all the difference for Sitaux. Because if I'm MbL, I'm looping into the woodline. And then I will see there's only 2 villagers there, and then I would know I need to focus on the left. I wouldn't go much further. Firing uphill is Sitaux. He weakens the MbL, and he gets it on the second shot. Crazy archer battle here. So we should probably now mention that the Saracens do get Arbalest, as do the Mongols, but the Saracen Arbalests get full upgrades. Mongols... Well, I guess Mongols get Thumb Ring. We could genuinely see Arbalest here from the Mongols. I guess they just lack the final armor. That's really not that big a deal. You still could go for the early Imp Arbalest, which is what players are in love with these days. God, dude, like, MbL is really playing smart. I wonder if I think he saw the hunt. That would be my guess. He sent one crossbow here to check it out as he sends in the rest of the force here. And then you have Sitaux going to hit MbL, and MbL expects it with Siege. Man, it's like they're playing on all visible right now. This is an exceptional game as MbL splits away from the Mangonel. We'll see Sitaux try and repair this. MbL splits away again. No repairs for Sitaux is a surprise to me. And the fact that MbL didn't fully focus down that Mangonel is also a surprise. So it works out for Sitaux. That crossbowman did pass by that TC, so now MbL knows about it. And now Sitaux trying to advance up a hill on this side. And again, he's paying attention, but he loses his Mangonel. A camel has to die. And Sitaux, you've got to get out of here. Don't play this game against MbL. You've got to get out of here. Just trust me. I know you're good. You've got the villager. My advice for you is to leave. And actually, we have arrived at a point of the game where players are branching out away from their siege with their crossbowmen. So MbL now is vulnerable to a knight or two. So he has to be really careful about that. He is actually bringing over some crossbowmen right now. Let me look at resources collected. Okay, so it says MbL's collected more, but remember that if you sell something from the market, like let's say you sell wood, you get gold from it, right? MbL wants to drop a castle here. But it doesn't decrease the wood in your resources collected stat. So anytime there's a lot of market use, so basically any game with Saracens, the resources collected is always a little deceiving. Oh, God! Sitaux got rocked! And so much is about to happen to him at the worst possible time, right? He's going to focus everything he can here. And then MbL's going to try and drop a castle. There's camels there. The camels are actually going to temporarily block that castle. But yeah, like, look at it from Sitau's position. You don't want to advance this way. He's going to go through the middle. Oh! The camels blocked it, and Sitau's dropping his own castle. No! Sitaux! Oh. Okay, so he's bringing an army over. MbL is too, though. This is bad. In these moments, you have to decide on what to do right away, and I don't think it's the right decision here. It might be. I'm not sure. Will the castle go up? It's at 70%, and he bails on it. No! And MbL's got a ram as well. So he's just going to work away on the castle foundation. Could always work away on the TC. And now Sitaux running through the middle. It looks like a 1-for-1 trade. And, oh, man, this has been a ridiculous game. That's going to be another 1-for-1. And then Sitaux micros here. Repair villager snipe from Sitaux. Sitaux with some beautiful micro. Maybe he's still got a chance with a faster imp. Remember, he does have a lead skirm as well. So his army in the middle is actually stronger right now. But this is a big issue. This town center is going to go down. And then as the villagers try and leave, they will get shot by the castle. Guys, if you wouldn't mind, remind me of MbL's performances in King of the Desert. I remember MbL was in the final of King of the Desert. I think it was maybe King of the Desert 3. I think King of the Desert 4. By the way, the winner of every single one was the Viper. I think King of the Desert 4 was Winchester Viper final, right? I think MbL maybe made a semi-final. Like, you think of the weaknesses that MbL tends to have as a player? It is in more strategic maps. This is not to say Arabia doesn't have strategy. It's just not... It's a similar type of game every time. It is the same map. Leary won one? Wait, Leary won King of the Desert 3? Really? God, how long ago was that? Okay, so final against... Oh, shoot, it's all come back to me. I think maybe Viper didn't even make that final? Or Viper won... God, okay, so anyways, this is why we needed reminders. I thought Viper had won every one. Oh, it was MbL Leary. Ah, MbL Leary final. Okay, I remember that now. I think that was maybe... I forget if that was at the start of DE. Or if that was at a different point in time. Anyways, Rams come in for the tower. Just super awkward. But just to finish my thought on MbL, like... I had questions over can he play this Archer meta as well as everybody else. Game 1, he found an answer to the Archer meta. Turned it into a siege push. And then this game here, man. I mean, he's got a 20 villager lead right now. He just walled after dealing with the lame so nicely. He obviously hasn't won this game yet, but he's in a really good position as Sitaux finds himself in the similar spot that he was before, where he makes it to the next stage and he simply just does not have a lot of army. MbL's played incredible. So, if the eco's looking like this, maybe you could consider going into light cav. If you're Sitaux, MbL's going to click Onager. It thinks it's just going to be continuous archer play, so it says, why not? Mangonel rolling through the middle. MbL sees the archer army, wrecks the archer army. It's, again, a very MbL move. The only other top player I remember going Onager on Arabia was Valis in Titans League, like 5 or 6 months ago. Can someone remind me of the semifinals in King of the Desert 4 and the semifinals in King of the Desert 3? Because clearly I need to acclimate myself with some of those results. Have we officially arrived at that point where I forget results in big tournaments now? I think maybe we have. I've been doing it for too long. Look at all the red dots across the map. Like, he's got so much vision, right? So he kind of knows if an army is coming towards him. And the only area where he doesn't know that would be this side. And he already has a castle in that area. Sitaux just patrols into an archer range. Sitaux is not going to expect Onager at all. And hopefully he sees this castle. He's making Mongol skirms. There's no bonuses right now for him with this. MbL finished chemistry, so now he can make bomber cannons from his many siege workshops. He's made 2 scouts, so he's probably thinking light cav against the skirms. This is a big moment for Sitaux. If he could win this Trebor, every castle you can keep up as the Mongols is one step closer to massing Mangadai. MbL's just now getting Bracer. Doesn't even have light cav. Things definitely aren't that balanced, but big Onager shot for MbL. I'm not even sure the upgrades really paid off yet, right? There was still only 3 kills, but obviously your opponent could lose everything in a heartbeat as MbL loses this castle. Okay, Leary, Vinch, and then Viper Jordan was King of the Desert 4. Okay, big shot, maybe. Sitaux backs away, but that's the problem. He continues to back away. He doesn't have a lot of map control. He needs to be pushing forward. And King of the Desert was Yo versus Leary and MbL versus Veleza. Okay. Sick. Sick. And remember, like, Leary having won a King of the Desert before, consistently making to the semifinals. One of the favorites. I had 3 people as the favorites going into this event. It was Hera, Leary, Viper, in no particular order. And Leary got 3-0'd by Sitaux. And now MbL, he's in position to go up 2-0 here. And what is the best of 7? Again, that's the positive for Sitaux, is that there's could be a lot of games here. But this has not started in the way he would have liked. MbL's training and just the amount of games he's been playing over the last couple months paying off here. He's playing like an animal. And big shots there. MbL has Arbalest now. He's got Onager. He's got Bomber Cannons. He's got Trebs. And Sitau's going to try and go light cav. And Mongol light cav does have more HP. They could get the Hussar upgrade too. And Mongol Hussars are strong. But it just feels like the timing is really difficult right here. Because, like, especially when the Saracen player has castles, I could see MbL making Mamelukes. I mean, he's now going to go for heavy camel, which is the safer play. But yeah, MbL knows the only thing this guy kills me with is Hussar. So let's just go for a unit that counters that nicely. We've got great gold control. TCs are going down for Sitaux, and this might be a game where he needs to take a minute or two after it. like, lose this game and then take a couple minutes just to get some water, walk around your house, and just take a bit of a breather, a mental reset. By the way, a very MbL thing is he will build different monasteries for relics. So, like, there was a relic here, built a monastery. Relic here, built a monastery. And I bet you, is there a relic somewhere else? Look, 3 monasteries. That is an MbL thing. There's one other player that does that, but I'm saving those ideas for eventual Hidden Cup content. Also, was that counterweights or was that zealotry? I think that's zealotry. So now 170 HP on these camels. Counterweights is another tech you can get as the Saracens. It's not seen too frequently. That would help the siege. And you got 40 on food right now for Sitaux. He's just on Lycav, a unit that's completely countered by Camel. And he has no map control. What's Hidden Cup? That's true. I don't even know what that is. 8 skirmishers, 4 crossbowmen, 16 Lycav. MbL's army composition is 37 arbalest. He only has 10 camels, but the 10 camels are over 1,000 HP. The GG is called. MbL goes up 2-0 here. And I'm going to keep it a little bit brief here because I definitely want to have small trees on, and I apologize for not having it. But what an interesting game. MbL just finding ways to hang on. And, like, he stopped the lame so nicely. He was bold enough to go for walls like nobody else really would. Just the style from MbL just could completely neutralize the early aggression from Sitaux. It's crazy because, like, everybody else is just fast archer, fast scouts, no walls. He's just the opposite of everybody else on the same freaking map. Any other game, if you're behind by 2 minutes to Castle Age, you're dying. But MbL was able to find good archer trades against Sitaux and good counterattacks when you needed it, and was able to hang in. And you also think of the civilizations that you won with thus far if you're MbL. You won with the Spanish and the Saracens. They are far from your best picks. He's still got some great civilizations remaining here. Great game. All right, so ladies and gents, game number 3 here. Catching up to speed. We've got Sitaux playing as the Portuguese in the blue, and we've got MbL playing as the Mayans. And something I just brought up is the fact that MbL had won the first 2 games with his last 2 civilizations in his draft. Now, the way this tournament was set up is the first 2 civ picks for both players are free pick, and it's just hidden until after you pick them. Number 1 pick for MbL was Mayans, same for Sitaux, and the number 2 pick was Portuguese for both as well. So we have number 1 civ pick versus number 2. Obviously, Sitaux will have Mayans available later on. So we're finally looking at the real big civilizations, right? The ones that you pick early because you believe in them the most. Got our small trees in action too. And we're ready to go. MbL came forward with an eagle early. We'll possibly consider a lame here. Will he go for this? He knows Sitau's scout is out and about. I think he would have seen Sitau's scout near his base. And if you try and steal the rhino, which he's now trying to do, the scout could come back. Now, the difference between what we saw in the previous game and here is the fact that the scout is faster, so the scout can always block the eagle, and MbL is running behind Sitau's base. I mean, luckily for Sitaux, he scouted this, so he could see the rhino going the other way. But MbL is genuinely just, he's like, I'm not going to be able to take this, but you're not going to be able to take it either. Master Boar Lamer MbL taking it to the opposite corner of where his base is. And Sitaux did see that. So, I mean, this is a daring attempt from MbL. I'm going to just say now that it would be one of his best lames ever if he ends up getting this to his base. What this does do, though, is this means Sitaux is down 400 food. So Sitau's looking. Great job from him. He's going to determine that this is near the edge. This closes off on the edge of the map, and so that he can double back this way. That's the way to do it. MbL's thinking he's a god. Sitaux tracked him, and now MbL's like, well, crap. This is not so good. So, now, again, I showed it last time, Gaia Vision. So, some map scripts don't adjust for this. We have adjusted for this in some of our maps. But you notice how much vision the lion has there? So, I don't know if that's why there's a pause. I don't know. It might be a pause for another issue. Really sucks to pause in these moments. There could be a bugged map or something that the admins have reached out to them about as well. Actually, Sitaux doesn't have a gold. Yeah, this is a bugged map. Right? Wait, no. He does have a gold. I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Okay. But yeah, look at the vision of Gaia. So it's really tricky, actually, as a caster these days, because you can remove Gaia vision but not have it show to casters. It's kind of confusing. But you see how much vision the Lion has there? And the relics have vision as well for Gaia. So if they didn't adjust for that in the script, MbL could, in theory, just stay... Well, they did with the relic. But he could stay near the animals. What's the eco looking like for MbL elsewhere? Walling up. This guy's frozen mid-wall. Wow, his base is actually horrible. Oh my god. This is, I mean... Sitaux's got 3 wood lines. MbL has 1. This is a ridiculous map. I think I said in game 2 that they've been fairly even, and maybe I jinxed it, but this is like... It's a bit weird because under the rules, this wouldn't be an admin re. An admin re would be if you don't have the same amount of gold, or sheep, or boars, or if there's a bug, but like this, there's wild differences here between these maps. Yes. Okay, so there was a pause. Could have been an admin reaching out to them. Could be that one of them had to sneeze. I don't know. But Sitaux's just attacking the eagle. If this gets close enough to MbL's base, MbL could bring a villager out. But then the villager could be blocked by the scout. So I don't think we'll see that. And I guess, like, overall, good decision for Sitaux just to attack the eagle. A great job from MbL. And he's just going to stand there. Again, there's Gaia vision. And Sitaux's just still blocking it. But MbL's not even moving. Dude, this is incredible patience. Oh, infuriating. I mean, MbL could get this freaking rhino. Are you kidding me, bro? Are you kidding me? How is he doing this? What? Bring a Vil now. Well, you might lose the Vil. Oh my god, he stops again. Oh my goodness. Now you bring a Vil. He's not going to lose it on that hit either. Oh my god. Oh my god. The best lame ever, dude. The best lame ever. He went behind his opponent's base. Are you freaking kidding me, man? He started here. Sitaux knew it the whole time. He went to the left corner. And he had no business ever getting that home. His eagle's on 1 HP. So he can now scout his base. Sitaux lost his scout and everything. And now we have another pause. Like, I think at this point... This might, I had said after game 2, Sitaux needs to take a minute and just get a mental breather, a mental rest. Maybe now he needs to go, like, throw something out a window. Oh my god. Now, it probably wasn't, I say best lame ever, but now it actually brings up another game to me where MbL was stealing a boar while Viper was stealing his boar, and then MbL, while stealing a boar, ended up killing MbL's scout. Or Viper Scout, sorry, it was a whole thing. So that might actually not be the best lame ever because MbL is just so freaking good at it. But what a tilter there for Sitaux. My goodness. I mean, I don't care how cool you are in the head, how good your mental is. That has to be frustrating, right? The coolest of cucumbers would still be frustrated by how this has played out, especially because you have gone down 2 games already. And yeah, you know something else someone else points out? 0 seconds of TC idle time. Now, MbL does have one of the worst maps he could possibly get here. He's got this wood line. He doesn't really have much else to work with. And he's just confirmed that's the case because his 1 HP eagle's been out and about. Sitaux's clicked up. And while MbL has his scout, he hasn't scouted the fact that we are going to see militia from Sitaux. So typically, if you're going to be going for the little... 2 militia play that Sitaux goes for, your starting scout's really important. MbL's obviously going to have the food. Sorry for all the delays with some of this. There's been some pauses, which can kind of screw up the flow of the game. But I think we're all good. And Sitaux just made 1 militia. And I'm not really sure the purpose of the militia. There's no way he'll kill anything with that, but It could be to make MbL panic. Ultimately, this is going to be archers for both, though MbL hasn't actually gone to gold yet. So he's going to need to do that, and he does that now. This map gen is absolutely horrible for MbL. Sitaux's map is great. So the AoE gods giving Sitaux some love. We'll see what MbL can do. He's going to drop a range. He adds 2 militia. And the 2 militia are at it because that's what's normally coming from Sitaux. And MbL's going to research Town Watch early because he's really paranoid of what's to come. And he actually cancels the other militia as well. Because his opponent could actually... It'd be very abnormal for them to go scouts, but I guess he just wants a unit that doesn't cost gold to contest for this. Can Sitaux turn it around? Can he take advantage of it here? This map. Sitaux has done fine with the archer plays. It's just the fact that he doesn't have the archer mass he needs to kill fast in early castle. It's the same theme in both games. The first game, he lost his archers in feudal to MbL's skirms. The second game, he lost a significant chunk of his archers to MbL's archers. And still, he did really well after that because he's Sitaux. But yeah, he just had some problems. MbL's eagle. Actually, that's not the eagle. Sorry, that's a spearman that could actually die to a lion. So the guy who can steal a boar and take it across the map is now going to lose a spearman to a lion. Makes sense, right? MbL doesn't care. You can't eat lions. That's the difference. T90, admins offered admin read to MbL because of the wood, I believe, and he said he didn't want it. Oh, really? Did that happen? I'll take your word for it. That would kind of make sense with the pauses. So good on the admins to do that. But yeah, dude, that's a tough decision. That's a really tough decision. Obviously, if he doesn't pull off the lame, he absolutely takes the restart. But he probably is happy with how this game is played out. MbL researched Town Watch a long time ago. So he has lots of vision. And here he comes. And he could find a nice little timing here against Sitaux. But he did patrol into the house there. And he's going to work his way around. But look at this. I mean, Sitaux's under a lot of pressure right now. And he saw the walls here. And he just assumes MbL has a wood line to wall to. Because that's what normal map generations give you. But that's not the case. So Sitaux just comes home now. When he could have maybe found some damage. MbL was waiting to defend, though. MbL with a strong mix, but surprise, surprise, he's got skirmishers. And there's another lion. MbL will... Or Sitaux, sorry, will kill that lion. Now, MbL has to stay here. Like, this still affects the game. He has to stay here because he knows that Sitaux could sneak an army. I think when he sees this army, he's going to know that he can bring this army forward now. And he goes for range number 2. This is an army to be annoying to Sitaux and keep Sitaux at home. Now let's see if MbL can find what he wants, which has been the theme, and that is archer kills. Not necessarily villager kills, just archer kills here. We're going to probably see the stone sold, which has happened. Actually, it didn't happen in game number 1 for Sitaux. Never mind. Game number 1 was a bit of a blur. But it has happened a lot. And it's going to happen again here, as he wishes to race the crossbowman. But, oh, man, he brought his army over here. And now these walls are going to get denied. It's so crazy, man. Like, MbL has the worst map. It's harder to play, but then he's got control now. And something he's not hesitant to do is he's not hesitant to go for 2 ranges, and he's not hesitant to get full upgrades. Like, very rarely are you seeing the archer meta these days revolve around 2 ranges, but MbL just says, I want map control. So I will say that the berries are all gone for Sitaux. He needs wood and he needs gold, and Sitaux's going to try and counterattack, but MbL could see this. Sitaux looking to sneak out. This is the game for him. If he loses these archers before Castle Age, it would probably be over. And he's actually now going to run back. I love this move, actually, because he knows MbL knows where he is. And so MbL's going to just be looking in the middle for those archer kills. Oh, man. All right, so not enough archers from MbL to really kill villagers. Lots of idle time for Sitaux's eco, but he is up. He's going to drop a stable. Even just 1 knight could be helpful with the amount of skirms MbL has out. I like the patience from Sitaux. He's going to have some problems. But still just not a large archer mass. So MbL shouldn't be killing that many villas here. The wood line's going to reposition to this wood line. It's messy. But, you know, again, one knight and then the archer mass being what it is. I think it could be pretty effective here. MbL's produced a lot of army. He's invested a lot in a feudal age here. He has an awful map. He will absolutely get brutalized on this map against crossbowmen. And he's just trying to find the spots to sit to do damage. But it's just trickle damage. He's just barely hitting units. You can see Sitaux's archers are looking for archer kills against MbL. And MbL now hoping to bring the skirms over to engage against the archers. And so the archers have to run away. I think we might see full-on tower defense from MbL here. Sitaux dropping a gate there is kind of random. But MbL finds this wood line now. There is the knight. The knight could clear all this up. The knight could clear all of this up. Like, it's the most important knight you've probably ever seen for if you're Sitaux. MbL knows that these skirms are eventually going to die, so he's looking for archer kills. That's actually a really good decision. It doesn't work out for him, though. He didn't find any kills there. Maybe he knows there's weak villagers as well. Still hasn't killed a single villager here, MbL. And now MbL's on the way to Castle Age. Sitaux's eco was messy, but everything's been pretty effective here. And the knight's going to chase all this home. The crossbowmen are going to advance forward. Knight should have to be microed back in a moment because MbL has a pretty big mass. And this knight still is without upgrades or support. But now MbL will need to consider backing away as well because of the crossbowmen. But if you think about it, MbL, he's dropping a tower in his wood line. He will, in a moment, have the stone to drop another tower if he's worried about his gold. Sitaux has not actually seen the gold, which is interesting. And I don't know if that's something that MbL factors into his thinking right now. Because MbL is not so scared of the knight anymore. And he's keeping that map control. So Sitaux can't advance out across. This is crazy. Like, I would never, ever engage here because I would lose everything. Yeah, there's still a chance that MbL could lose everything, but he's still got so much army! And he knows the skirms are probably not going to be something he wants to upgrade here because he's going to go full archers, and he's getting decent engagements with this force. Anyone who plays as the Goths knows more army is sometimes the best thing. It doesn't matter about having the best army, it's about being able to make more army. And MbL's made more army. We don't have any Huskarls or Halbs or champions here. But Sitaux finds himself in a very similar situation to what we've seen before, where he's in early Castle Age, he hasn't damaged MbL, and he's on, like, 2 archers. So I think now you might need to drop a town center. We'll see what he decides to do. Nice attack round there. Takes out the eagle. Otherwise, the eagle could have taken out the mangonel. Here, MbL he has an annoying force. Still lots of lumberjacks all idled and delayed. We have a ranged army here from MbL breaking through as well. MbL had one of the sickest lames you've ever seen. Somehow made it happen. And he's making it messy now as well. As Sitaux repairs the mangonel, he won't lose that mangonel. But MbL's now going to break through here. And MbL's like, I got wood again. Thank God I can finally chop a big wood line. It's still so bad. It's so bad. Like, you can't even drop a TC over here. He didn't scout it, but if he were to go there, he would have found out that he can't. 11 crossbowmen for MbL, so he doesn't have the biggest mass. And he's also going to TC the middle to protect some gold. Probably feeling fairly confident right now, but he's got to be careful. Because the siege can get good engagements, and then the knights and the crossbowmen can take out the eagles. The eagles, as of now, have had no upgrades. One big shot here for Sitaux, and he starts to turn this game around. As he's getting bloodlines for the knights that now have armor. And MbL looping in with 2 eagles. That's going to be frustrating. Because now your mangonel has to stay near your town center. Town center will go up. MbL is going to mass more eagles. Sitaux kills that eagle with the town center. And you could tell he wants to go forward, but you could also tell that he feels like he has to go home. It's like forward and home. What are you going to decide on? I'd like to see MbL either go for a monastery or a siege workshop here. I think both could be useful in different scenarios. I don't think ballistics is very valuable here. MbL sees that. Sitaux coming forward to repair the mangonel. MbL knows the siege is around. He's just trying to find the right spots. And for Sitaux, he's expecting the army to be over here. But not over here. MbL's been so sneaky. Big moment on this side. Sitaux realizes there was an overchop, which is huge because it saves more villagers. But still, he's got villagers in harm's way as the mango has to head over to the wood line. Meanwhile, MbL goes in with his eagles to take out the siege because he figures this is the perfect time. Sitau's distracted, but Sitaux realizes it. And now MbL really needs that siege as he goes for the siege workshop. MbL also just got hit here. Eco KD's 5-0. But MbL could lose his entire town center on the front as Sitaux defends nicely again. And now this might not be something MbL even micros much. MbL has the villager lead, but he's starting to have some problems. He's starting to fall behind, and Sitaux could maybe do it. He gets another big shot. MbL's losing the game. MbL, he's completely missed the prioritization here of what he needs to micro. He's falling apart. Well, there's 3 mangonels for Sitaux. Everything can come forward now. He doesn't need to worry about defending. And, you know, for MbL, you do not have the army mass to protect your siege either. If you had 15 crossbowmen, then the knights can't necessarily dive. That's what I would look to do if I'm Sitaux. Is simply just, anytime you see a mangonel from this position, just dive for it with your knights. There are instances where you have to be worried about doing that. But I think per this situation, you just dive underneath it. It's worth it to lose 3 knights to kill the mangonel, if that were to be the case. But MbL naturally finds a kill. You could tell he's really falling apart right now. He's got idols here. Okay, there are the knights. They're diving underneath. Something we said Sitaux should do. And I think it's all worth it. Because there's enough villagers in here where you'll kill them all soon if this continues like this. Sitaux is still behind in villagers. He's got the better army comp, though. And MbL's now trying to go eagles with Castle Age armor. But it's just not enough. It's desperation from MbL. MbL is going to lose this game, I think, guys. And we have ourselves a series, but MbL's in on the gold! Oh, Sitaux just realized as well. That explains the timing here, then. Oh, boy. It's not over yet. The TC's also still up. There's only 3 knights now. There's only 4 crossbowmen. MbL does have more of a chance now because of that raid. His base is horrible here. He doesn't have the wood to repair this, man. But if he can get the eagle mass, maybe it'll be okay. He's going to take an engagement against this knight. Sitaux, using the TC fire, will clear this. MbL abandons the TC completely. Honestly, probably the right play. Because the villagers, it felt like they were going to go down anyways. MbL's got, what, 2 barracks? 2 barracks. And I think he's just going to counterattack again. You know, Portuguese have very cheap gold units, so it's very easy for them to mass knights and crossbows and siege. Yeah, MbL knows he doesn't have the army to engage against this yet, so he's trying to... His best bet is to pull Sitaux out of position. But he really needs to have more units. If he gets to 20 eagles, it's a different story, but only at 7 right now. And, I mean, his map has absolutely become an issue for him here, right? The stone and gold being on the back is really nice, though. Like, he's got lots of gold income. With the way Sitau's day is going, he's going to overchop this tree soon, and MbL's going to double back to it. We'll see. Tower for MbL could buy himself some time. He does not have a university, so guard tower is probably not an option. MbL continues to check the wood line. Oh, there's actually still a hole there. Oh, and there's a hole there as well. Oh, no. Oh, no. This is so bad. Sitau's going to wall here, but Sitaux, if you do that, you lose all your vills, right? I guess he's just making a 1-tile choke. Oh, God, and now Sitau's diving. He's got so many knights, and he refuses to go home. He knows he's going to take losses, so he needs to kill as much as he can from MbL. And what a ridiculous game. So many villagers are dying for Sitaux. You got tower fire. You've got crossbowmen for MbL. He's trying to take out the siege. I mean, I don't even think he'll get one there. The Knights still have decent amount of HP, but there's a lot of towers garrisoned. And oh god, the gate open for Sitaux. He's got no eco. Oh god. And the answer still is go forward, right? Because especially if you go home now, it's bad, right? You have to just kill. So this is probably the right play. Go for the TC. Now, does MbL try a desperate castle to keep himself in this game right now? Looks like he will. He's going to drop a castle there. That does not protect the TC, but that's also not a castle that will be denied. MbL could still lose this game because he doesn't have army. I mean, he has army, but he doesn't have the numbers of army that he needs. MbL's about to have 0 town centers, guys. This game is insane. Oh my goodness. Castle goes up. Now, if you start to lose your siege here, it's problematic. Sitaux loses... Oh, he loses almost all of his mangonels. And MbL has bought Canero from before, so he could make plumed archers instead of crossbowmen. I mean, a mix would be fine. And if the siege isn't there, mass archers could be epic for MbL. He says, who needs a town center? Who needs wood? He just drops a mill to get back to some food eco. This game has been unbelievable. There's been so many epic moments in this one. I have not covered as much as King of the Desert as I would have liked, but this for me has got to be one of the best games of KotD, right? Has to be. MbL has to drop a double tower on his own gold. Like, it's so messy. This is what open and crazy maps can do. We are very spoiled these days. And obviously, there's a lot of money on the line here in this tourney, so you don't want players to lose out on, you know, career-changing prize pools due to bad maps. But, all right, MbL just drops the towers. He's losing lots of villagers, and now he's going to go with eagles and crossbowmen to Sitaux's base. And I think we are at that point, guys, where Sitaux... He can't kill MbL somehow. MbL's TCing the corner. And MbL's always finding just enough to counterattack with. Like, this army now for Sitaux is really struggling to know on where to go. Because there's towers here, there's a castle there, and there's towers here. And MbL knows he's done enough, so he just counters. MbL will get a TC up again. And, oh god, the game is fast-forwarding here. And, well, I think that tells us exactly what happens with the game. I'm not sure why it's fast-forwarding. There's no speculate here, but what a ridiculous game. MbL's up 3-0 in this quarterfinal. That was an amazing individual game. The lane was still the highlight for me, but amazing hold from MbL. And it's a shame for Sitaux that he's down 3 games because he's played really well. He took out all of MbL's town centers and still lost. It's just, I mean, we call MbL the cockroach of AoE because he's able to stay alive in games. He's able to just hang on. And he certainly hung on here in a way that people don't normally do, right? Like, buying tower defense is not normally a thing. Wow. I'm amazed. And the map was absolutely horrible for him, right? So maybe that brought the unique player that he is out of him a little even more, right? Because he had to be more creative. He's basically out of all of his wood at this point. Denied the opportunity to restart it after the lane. Where did it all go wrong for Sitaux? I think it was the same problem as before. The same problem that he's faced is MbL finds these engagements in Feudal Age, and then Sitaux isn't able to find the value that he wants in early castle. It looked like he had a good thing going here with the knight and the crossbow. He just needed to make sure he was walled, and he needed to do a better job of preventing MbL from doing damage. I want to go to the point in this game where I really think this game changed. Okay, not here. Like, MbL tried constantly to get counter raids in because he knew he'd be behind. Not even here. It's what, like the 4th or 5th time at this point that MbL's tried to run through with something. But just wait for it. Okay, this moment. Nope, that's not even it. But okay, I don't even need to pick one moment. The point is, this is the same crossbow army. MbL kept trying this. The point I'm looking for is actually the eagles. Because, yeah, this moment. Okay, so right now, MbL's going to lose all of his army. He's going to lose many of these villagers. And Sitaux is just going to steamroll him, right? If everything goes as planned, that's how this plays for Sitaux. The only way that this doesn't go as planned is if something wacky happens. How does that wacky thing happen? Well, these eagles get in. MbL choosing to send those eagles in means that he could save these villagers because Sitau's distracted. Like right now, Sitau's going to notice this, so the villagers can kind of make a run for it. And yeah, so now he notices this, so he can't pay attention. And then Sitau's eco dips down lower than it would have otherwise. And it was just a continuous cycle from MbL. Really impressive job of the tip that I try and say to you guys when I'm coaching you. Sometimes the best way to get your opponent to be less effective while attacking you or to go away from your base is to go to their base. It doesn't have to be with a big, sizable force. It can just be with enough. And that's what MbL was dominating with in that game. And all right, here we are. Again, like, Sitau's lost 3 straight games, and they're not wasting any time getting into this. Sitau's ready to go. He's played well. We'll see if there's going to be another lane here. Game number 4, MbL essentially with 4 match points. But he is heavily favored now to make it to the semifinal in King of the Desert 5. See the scout moving forward for Sitaux. He's playing Lithuanian, so plus 100 food at the start for him. And then additional plus 100 every time he builds a TC later on. Some tourneys will have the rhinos or the boars on the sides or the back. King of the Desert's like, give me action and give me brutality. Both players with rhinos on the front. And Sitaux, unfortunately, missing that one. But he knows that his has been stolen. So MbL was able to get away with the one in the previous game. And oh, God, Sitaux misses this as well. Wow. This could be a 4-0. Because MbL will know about this rhino. So if I were him, I would actually send the villager to get that. It feels weird to have 3 rhinos underneath your TC, but you don't want Sitaux to be able to steal one back. Maybe he won't do that. But for the time being, Sitaux probably realizes MbL has stolen his rhino. Let's see. Okay, you need to steal this back. Boom, boom. Okay. And now MbL sees this. So MbL has successfully lamed twice now in this series. Will he be able to deny this? Let's see the other side, the lame defense. Again, rhino point of view. It's interesting that both scouts are weak, but MbL's scout isn't as weak. This is Gaia point of view. There's a lot of vision here because of the lions. So it feels to me like Sitau's going to make this pretty far. Simply due to the way the lions interact with Gaia. But no, MbL's getting the block! And he's done such a good job thus far. Sitau's got a halfway across the map. Thank God he's Lithuanians and got extra food, right? So he needs some food right now. And oh man, it leaves the vision. And MbL defends. He is so good with laming, man. So he's going to have 3 rhinos. And Sitau's got some big problems. This completely eliminates build orders from the equation for you, right? Like certain things that you would try, you just cannot do anymore. And most of the builds that are eliminated now are builds that incorporate militia. So man-at-arms won't work. The militia into archers, it won't be as effective either. So it's most likely just going to be a standard archer opening or just a standard scout opening. I'm going to lean towards archers because that seems to be what King of the Desert's about. MbL is Berbers, and Castle Age is where Berbers shine. And in this matchup, you like the cheap camels against the Lithuanians. You do have to, of course, be careful, though, because the Lithuanians also have cheap spearmen. Thankfully for Sitaux, the rest of his eco has been pretty clean. He's going to be able to click up at a solid enough time. He's going to click up at 18 pop. And his scout is still alive as well, which is pretty helpful. Dang. MbL just makes certain aspects of the game look so easy, man. This has been 90 minutes in full, including break times in between games. And it's already 3-0 for MbL. Best of 7s could easily take like 3 or 4 hours. Maybe not so much on Arabia, but what's MbL going to do? He's going to expect early aggression, and he's going to get some walls down. Just missing a house here. Maybe he'll want a wall this way because you don't want archers to sit in this choke. And this reminds me of the Saracen game. Like, he still isn't clicked up. He actually forgot his mill. So it might not have been delaying this intentionally. But he's up late because he forgot his second building. Thankfully for him, his opponent can't go man-at-arms because that could punish the walls. We've seen this situation before where Sitaux will go heavy into archers. And then MbL just has the walls. He just needs to wall here as well. Yeah, Raz, I think they switched the time for the start of King of the Desert today. I had posted that it was going to be at 11 a.m. my time. It started at 10 a.m. So I think you're in my time zone, right? Did MbL see the gold here? He did not. He didn't really see much at all. You could see this ostrich trolling Sitaux if he's looking. And MbL is probably just making sure his walls are down because he doesn't know 100% what's happening. I could see MbL, based on what he has not seen, just making a spearman here. I think he's going to think that his opponent might be going scouts based on the uptime and the fact that he didn't see gold. We actually don't see Sitaux going for a military building. This is him compensating for the fact that his eco is a disaster right now. He's essentially delayed the range, but I've done this a lot, and let me tell you, it's not a fun feeling because you basically are stuck now because you've invested into the farming approach. So you can't just delay your range, because if you delay your range, you're still delaying your farms, and you always want to be going towards one dedicated move. But I guess because MbL was so late, and there's MbL's spearman, I think he's just kind of thinking, this is fine. There's the scout, and scout's going to save itself. MbL's going to see the TC. And now MbL's like, wait a second, you only have a barracks? Interesting. And he will double check as well, just to make sure. It's only barracks. And MbL's lamed enough people to know that this is probably a result of the lack of food. And Sitau's just trying to get his food eco at a point where he feels like it should be. Sitaux really trying to get that ostrich. Oh, but he adds the spear. And both scouts go down. That's kind of funny. But hey, the spearman can push the ostrich. Definitely need a range now if you're Sitaux. This is manageable for him, because his range timing isn't that much later than MbL's. And you can add a skirm or two with Lithuanians and be fine. It's actually really well played. He sends a few more back to gold. He obviously doesn't have the scouting on what MbL's up to. MbL with the early blacksmith as well. Normally in these types of wall games, you're going to see MbL delay fletching, but he knows his opponent isn't walled yet. And that spearman just showed him that his opponent's range was on the way. Now knows it's completed. So now he knows he has the numbers advantage, and he wants to start to pick away at this economy for Sitaux. There's the blacksmith. There's some walls. Archer, archer, archer. There's another archer coming forward. MbL needs to keep this open. Lithuanians have very fast skirms, and Sitau's got great micro. So I still think this is manageable for Sitaux. I'm surprised that MbL, I guess he's going to loop together here. I was surprised that this didn't stay here, but he's doing a bunch of different things right now. Fletching's in. This is MbL's time window. Second skirm on the way for Sitaux. Fletching 15 seconds off. You should be okay. MbL have to have some pretty crazy micro to snowball this. Now, there is another interesting little side note about this whole thing is like, yeah, Lithuanians have great skirms, but if you make too many of them, then you're up against a civilization with cheap knights. So it's just how the game works at this level, right? Like, at a more basic level or even mid-level, it's like my opponent's making this, I make this. That makes sense. But at this level, you don't want to make too much of the right unit because it will eventually be the wrong unit. And oh man, MbL, he figures, okay, if I can get a couple villager kills, I'll be happy with this. And he's just going to trade against the archers here. And the skirms, actually. It's not too bad of a trade. So MbL killed the villager. But Sitau's eco, still not bad. And Sitau's going to be waltz. So what's his next move? It's going to be a market, right? It's market of Age of Empires right now. No market. Ooh. I'm surprised. Well, the market normally revolves around strategies with crossbow timing, because you're already using lots of gold for that. He's a knight skirmisher civ, so he's investing into some good farming eco. MbL is as well. So he's going skirms against Lithuanians. The Lithuanians should always be able to dictate the fights, take the better engagements because of their speed. And that's exactly what Sitaux is looking to get right now. I think due to the fact that both players are walled, neither player will add a stable right now to engage against the skirms. There's the market for MbL. MbL may be looking for slightly faster castle age time. And he's got pretty good vision over Sitau's base. So what he'll know is where the long-term golds are. Or excuse me, he doesn't actually know about this gold. I apologize. He didn't even scout this gold, but he has to assume it's probably there. He also knows his opponent was on that gold because we saw some archers. MbL with better food eco in the bank before I even saw the market get used that much. And he's just happy to sit on the hill, buying some food. And MbL's clicked up without selling any stones, so he could still drop town centers for eco, which is something that's been a theme for him in these games. Is he's the one who's prioritizing the eco more than Sitaux is. Dangerous spot for Sitaux to be in, man. You weren't able to do any damage with the civilization that should have the faster feudal initiative due to the extra food. Obviously, we know why that is. That is because MbL lamed him, and then MbL denied Sitau's lame. And I think if I'm in Sitau's position, I'm always expecting MbL to try and kill me with 2 stables. You have to respect the fact that it's cheap knights, and so you need to have, like, a lot of prep for it, is my point. Meaning that whenever Sitaux falls into a defensive position, which he will probably soon because MbL is showing a scout, I think he will double down on that defense. And the reason I bring this up is because MbL wants that. Oh, no, he is going 2 stables, actually. But still, I think, as MbL's just now, he's queued up Loom after Castle Age. What? MbL takes an engagement here. I'll finish my thought as he's trying to kill all the skirms. And the problem is you can't really go all in pikemen if your opponent still has skirms, if you're Sitaux. Your long term would have to be knights, which then could get countered by the camels that the Berbers can make. This is so good from MbL. Really takes me back to the 2016-2017 MbL, because not too many players make additional scouts like this before Castle Age. It was good micro from Sitau's Spearman. Somehow that thing didn't die right away. But MbL reaches castle. He's going to drop a monastery as well, and he's really going to try and kill quickly. But anyways, the reason I brought up what I brought up on how Sitaux has to play early castle and how he has to play all-in military is because MbL saved that stone and he's going for TCs. So MbL is in a more aggressive position currently. He's investing a little bit less into the attack while also investing more into eco. So what Sitaux has to do here is he has to clear this, but even if he does clear it, MbL will have a villager lead. It's just so good how MbL is playing this game right now. He didn't need Loom, right? But still players get it. Because, you know, just in case something comes over to your base, but he's been so comfortable in this situation, it seems. And Sitaux, he's showing his hands by keeping the Spearman garrison there. So MbL will understand that it could be the pikeman upgrade. We have double monastery from Sitaux, to be expected, right? He's behind in stable units, and the opponent has cheaper stable units, and the opponent has camels. This does not come as a surprise to me. Also, with the way Sitau's day is going, this does not come as a surprise to me either. He's going to overchop that tree, which could be really annoying. Knights are going to move out. MbL is using a weak scout to scout for relics right now, which you need to do against Lithuanians. And the knights encounter a monastery. So now Sitaux is probably like, well, great. That's not a fun spot for me to be in, as we see MbL adding another archer range. Look at the amount of units he has. Wants to add archers, I guess, because he's expecting pikes, and he thinks skirms are just weaker, which is true. All right, first relic in for MbL. Remember, Lithuanians get +1 attack on their knights per relic collected, and Lithuanian monasteries work faster. So this much on gold, we could see a lot of knights and a lot of monks for Sitaux pretty soon. But you cannot donate any knights. Oh, wait, he hesitated. He should still get 1 kill. And the other monk there was able to get a conversion, and now the monk for Sitaux is exposed, and uh-oh. But I guess both players will lose some monks here. Very well played from MbL. MbL has killed almost all the knights here. Oh, man. And this camel's could get both. Bonk. Ah! Camel, don't switch sides. Nope. Doesn't happen. Sitaux really needed a conversion there. Oh, I just feel so bad for him here, but I'm also so pumped for MbL because he's just played so good. He's played so clean and like, comfortable here. And MbL's a huge confidence player. Like, if you listen to him talk, he's sometimes against certain players just like, yeah, I'm going to lose, right? And it's bad, too. Like, it's like, people say I have confidence problems. MbL's a beastly player. Sometimes it's like, whoa, dude. You realize how good you are? I think that, you know, he came in having had experience against Sitaux, but then the first 2 games probably eliminated all of his nerves. Then game number 3, you have the ridiculous lame. That's a confidence lame. That doesn't happen if you're not confident. And this might be the GG here. There's not going to be enough conversions for Sitaux. I don't think so anyways. He's going to lose all of his monks. And he's going to lose all of his knights. And if he does that, this is his everything, right? Like, he's not booming at all. He might be tempted to just call it quits here. That was a lot of monks down. MbL. Happy to take this trade overall, I think. Obviously, you shouldn't call it here if you're Sitaux, because from your position, you do not know what the rest of the game is looking like. Realistically, I think and again, this is confidence I have in MbL, but I think the way the game should flow is in 5 minutes time, MbL's got a 25 or 30 villager lead. Sitaux needs to clear this. Like, this needs to be gone. He needs to be moving out across the map. Double monastery, though, is deceivingly strong with Lithuanians. Oh, triple monastery with Lithuanians. Dang. Yeah, and I mean, how many monks does he have? He's got 7, and there's 16 total military for MbL. He converts all these camels with those monks, this could snowball. Such a weird mix of units from MbL. He gave up on one unit type, switched back to the other. And I think MbL recognizes as he has to delete that camel that this is time to back up. He knows he's against an all-in. He's going to back up. Would love to see the light cav upgrade from MbL. I think like 6 light cav would be amazing in these types of fights. And monk goes down for MbL. Relic will be lost. The monk that's being created there is canceled. Surely it's light cav here, right? He's going to try crossbowman and camel. 73 villagers versus 54 now. Sitaux has recovered very nicely. He's on 3 TCs now. Is behind by 20 vills. But the army composition he has right now can absolutely win the game for him. Monk's obviously the most important thing, though. He needs conversions. Here are the scouts for MbL. Looking for monks. Maybe waiting for that one monk that's taking the relic. He should be getting light cav. Sitau's just waiting. MbL doesn't mind this because it's giving him time to mass up on the hill. Sitaux doesn't want to lose those monks. So he's brought some knights over here. Monks are going to head over towards the monastery, and that's a nice little +1 attack that Sitaux will have, making it +2 attack because he researched forging. MbL's got a big old ball of army, though. Doesn't have monks, but he's going to have the knights, and he runs right past the knights. If the scouts were here, this would be perfect, but look at this from MbL. He says, okay, go ahead. Try and stop and convert me. Try it. I dare. I dare you to. Oh, man. He sucked Sitaux in and takes most of the monks. Again, so clean. So good. Getting ballistics now. And I think it's bad enough for Sitaux where even if he gets every conversion with the monks he has remaining, he still loses this area. And he will lose here in the quarterfinals. It was amazing from Sitaux to beat Leary, of all people, a former King of the Desert champion, 3-0. And Sitaux just played fantastic. But MbL wins 4-0 here. It just feels like his style counters Sitaux so well. But then also MbL just played like a beast today. MbL's on to the semifinals. So, you know, we had some banger games in this quarterfinal, but at the end of the day, it just always felt like if MbL wasn't dead going into early Castle Age, that he was going to be in a spot to get the job done here today, and it was the theme in every single game. The games were all a bit different than each other, right? Like, game number 1 flowed differently than game number 2. Game number 2, different. Game number 3. Game number 3 was a ridiculous game, including a ridiculous lane, which I guess MbL also had here. But MbL played clean, and I'm happy for the guy. I know it's been really important to him to get good results in tourneys. This year, saying he wants to commit more to Age of Empires 2 again, as he was trying to balance a full-time job. I think he's just going to be stepping back doing part-time work so he can commit more to Age. And the guy's got the talent. So congratulations to MbL for the quick 4-0 there. We won't have more games in this quarterfinal, but we will have the next quarterfinal soon. That'll be Viper versus Vivi. To those watching later on YouTube, Viper Vivi will come in 12-ish hours, okay? So that's how everything's going to be spaced. So we're going to have quarterfinal number 1, obviously this, uploaded. 12-hour gap, next quarterfinal. 12-hour gap, next quarterfinal. 12-hour gap, next quarterfinal. Then we're 12-hour gap, a semifinal. 12-hour gap is a semifinal, and then the final, okay? So that's the plan. It all hit the main channel on YouTube. I hope my commentary did these games justice. We had some issues getting things started, but things should be pretty smooth for the next ones. MbL played pretty well, though. And I enjoyed casting it. Good stuff.